Hi everybody, Brandon Jones here. I got Mr. Kyle Bossman here. I got Mr. Daniel Bloodworth here.
I'm right here.
I got a whole pot of Gamescom trailers here. I got a lot of stuff to sift through. There's lots of trailers we could talk about. Homefront, not a trailer I thought was going to be one we were really going to talk about. Especially because we got a really great gameplay reveal where we were sneaking into a base, we're operating RC cars with C4 on them, you know, and taking out guards and stuff like that. So if Homefront was going to make a return, I thought we were going to go straight back to gameplay. But no, we get this CG trailer with a little kid that's just like, uh-oh, you know, get ready to not connect to this kid at all because he's some creepy-looking Polar Express, you know, nightmare. But you know, it went past, it went soaring over the uncanny valley and the issues of writing a full narrative script and you know, having somebody read that. And there's lots of hurdles that this trailer had to overcome. And I think it came through with flying colors. I'm curious what you guys think.
And now, please welcome a shining example of the new America on the horizon. Who'd like to say a few words of gratitude?
So yeah, for those of you guys who haven't seen this trailer, you know, long story short, this kid comes out to read something to the People's Army of Korea, which has taken over the United States, and is basically saying thank you, wink wink, for, you know, taking us over and for dominating our society. And you know, a lot of people said they really like this trailer because it plays on 2 levels, and yeah. I think it almost plays on like 3 levels, you know, because it's you know, obviously on the very base level he's talking to this Korean army. On the level beyond that, he's actually talking to, you know, the revolution. He's talking to these people to try to ignite them. I don't know if this is being broadcast. That's actually one thing we don't see is like, will anyone in this theater, outside of this theater, hear this? Would have been interesting maybe to see like a family or somebody at home like listening to the radio, so like right. You can, you know, the message received, you know, you can see them like hearing what he's saying and really getting it. And I think it's also a comment on what the heck's going on with Homefront. You know, like this game, you're kind of curious, like, is this game actually going to be finished? What's the current state of it? And so here this video kind of comes in, not only continuing the story, but kind of like telling you like we are very committed to this game, to this world, to this concept. Here's a whole nother spin on it to get you psyched up. This is better than the first CG trailer that we got that had like the one guy like sneaking up to the gate, and then like the gate blows up, and then he pulls out his gun and then like gets a rocket launcher and fires a rocket launcher, and you're like, yeah, revolution. Yeah. And there's just so many other layers to it. There's a lot of eye candy in this. There's a lot of small details going on in the back. Potentially a very cheesy trailer, something that it really kind of makes you wonder like what direction they're going for, and what really they're trying to tell us. Like I said before, message received, loud and clear. I clearly get the tone. But I guess the question is, now that I really think about it, is I love this trailer. Does this make me want to play Homefront more, Kyle Bossman?
For me, it does. Well, it's actually really interesting you bring up the previous reveal, because in that case it was not great CG trailer, great gameplay reveal. Here we have what I think is a great CG trailer and an okay gameplay reveal 2 years later. I really like this trailer, if we're just talking about this trailer. Neat idea, you know, neat concept. I think that, you know, it's taking a very realistic perspective on a very unrealistic situation. You know, this will never happen, most likely, in this manner anyway. But
when it does, they're going to dig up this trailer score, and they're going to laugh at you, Kyle.
And they're going to make me hold up a piece of paper and say it in front of a group. Yeah,
oh, that's a final bet if I've ever heard one.
But I like how they're handling it. I like that it is handled with a certain realism and emotional stakes as well. And so, yeah, I think this is a really great trailer. I like any time you're saying one thing and showing another. It's good. I feel like it very much.
I guess maybe I'm not like paying attention to detail because I'm actually noticing kind of this through line where like we see the guy in the factory and he steals the thing and then he hands it off to someone and then that guy takes it back to the base and then he's working on it, which I'm assuming builds up to this explosion in the end, right? Like that's the whole thing. I mean, not the kid's speech, like he's not like covering for them or something, but like you know, we see this guy at the end with his phone and then we see you know, a couple buildings in Philadelphia explode. 2 criticisms that I have for this game, which is why it's gonna be dropped down a little bit. One, I think the timing is weird. I think, I mean, I do like that it kind of like reaffirms our interest in Homefront. It kind of like does a good job kind of reselling the game and reestablishing everyone's expectations of it. But I would have liked if this was the first teaser, you know, like that would have resonated a lot more for me because I am thinking back to the other trailer and you know, I cautiously, you know, warn these guys to okay, you're good. This is a nice CG trailer. Don't make any more of these. You know, like you're good. You've hit your quota on CG trailers. Maybe at launch you can drop something, but like, you know, we really need to see more gameplay of this. It really needs to be focused on what this world is like. You know, we do have this build where we're introduced to these characters. We see everybody being persecuted and beaten up by guards. You know, they do a great job of setting the scene. And then we see all these through lines as far as building up to this event in the end. And then we see the building blow up, but I have no idea why it blew up. Like, I have no idea what they blew up, what kind of win that is. Like, is that a win in and of itself? Or is this soldier that we're seeing on the building that's raising his gun, is he now going to, like, join some kind of fight? And not only that, I mean, call me overly sensitive, but, like, you know, it's been how many years after 9/11, and I still don't necessarily want to throw my hands up in the air cheering when I look at the city skyline and see buildings crumble. It doesn't, you know, it doesn't like instill that like woohoo kind of vibe. So I think there's like a little bit of they kind of want me to be happy in that moment, and I'm still a little bit reserved just because again I have no idea. Like that guy that smacked that guy in the kneecap, is he in that building? If so, then yay, I'm happy about that. You know, it's like oh, that guy who smacked his kneecaps, but I just don't know, and maybe kind of like tie that together a little more directly if that's going to be your aim, if that's your end, if kind of this whole narrative ends with this one character in a hoodie and a cell phone. Who is that and what role does he have and what needs to happen now?
Oh yeah, it's super funny. We see them like take down 3 guards and then he texts, "It's time," after taking out 3 guards. Like what were they preventing? It does seem very isolated. It looks like we blow up one building there. But you're
like
right.
if you saw a bunch of soldiers run in, you know, if the guy called people and then you saw a bunch of guys run in and all these guards turned around and they were getting attacked, and you kind of like did pulled out from that scene and then had the vibe where like this is all happening, you know, this all these moments are evolving, you know, constantly, as opposed to just like, well, there's a win, sweet. The guy's got like a building stamp and he just stamp, took out 3 more buildings. What do you think, Blood?
Yeah, I think it does a pretty good job of, you know, showing that the juxtaposition between what he's reading and obviously not meaning it. You know, he's reading it because he has to read it.
Good performance too from this kid. Good
excellent.
job.
Like especially the stutter. He stutters in one word. Perfect.
Yeah.
It does make me wonder though if this is like a 40-year-old woman who just does a dynamite, you know, little boy impression.
It's not though. It's not like a hey, I speak like a kid. It's like an actual like kid's voice. You know what I mean? I think it's important actually.
Yeah, I think the moment where I kind of like turned the light on for me or whatever was the factory moment, you know, when the guys are like, yeah, we're resourceful and like we're gonna take what we got.
I like the look from the woman next to him, like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
you're gonna get in trouble.
I think it works pretty well, and I think you know, by the end of it, you know, it gets the tone pretty right. I do think that I'm not a fan of the raising the gun thing. It's just this weird, almost like slow motion kind of. It's like, all right, we did it. But
well, the other reason too, and this,
but then it also does it. I think the thing is that they do it again in the gameplay thing, and it's like, am I just gonna see people raising guns all the time in this game? I don't know.
I think the other thing too is in just watching this, if I just saw this and didn't see any gameplay accompanying it, which is why it feels like an announcement trailer, it feels like something that's introducing me to the concept, is where do I fit into this? You know, like
you are the revolution. Did you see that?
Yeah, we all are the revolution, but like the guy who steals the item and then takes it to his friend and then he engineers it, like will that ever come into play in the actual game beyond me like go to this scientist and get his package and then take it somewhere else? You know, like by showing me that, are you just painting the world or are you actually introducing me to gameplay elements? And if you can do both of those things at the same time, then you get up in the 9s for me. You know, right. Like then it exists on multiple levels. Then I'm really getting a sense of like, oh wow, we're looking at the game, but we're also telling the story, and there's just so much going on. But this kid's performance is so damn good. 8.6.
Yeah, I was going 8.5 on this. I think that I like it. I like the idea, Brandon, of reintroducing your game. I think that's actually important. If they just did straight gameplay, I think it would feel even weirder than it does now, where it's just like, frankly, a lot of people forgot it exists. High Tech was having issues, and like it kind of got washed away. And so I think it's a good idea to come out and just say like, hey, reintroducing ourselves. Here we are again. And I think this does a good job communicating what the game's about, vibe-wise anyway.
And I think the greatest compliment I can give the trailer is that when this started, we were like, oh yeah, Homefront, okay. And then like 30 seconds later, we all just looked at each other like, this is a good trailer. You know,
yeah.
you could feel it right away. And that means they really cared, and they really put a lot of effort into it. Does Daniel Bloodworth care?
Yeah, I guess I'll go with the 8.9 on this. I think it was pretty well done. There are some things that I don't care for though. Like I said, like like when you end it off, you could have just gone with your logo. You don't need to. It's kind of like going back to the be the Batman thing. It's like I don't. That doesn't say anything to me. Like yeah. Play a video game. That's all that says to me, It's like, don't tell me that I'm going to be doing this. It's like, I know I'm going to be doing
Literally
this.
Just
it's a video game.
First-person shooter. Like, yeah.
So, yeah.
Thought as much. That is fair, and it averages out. I think our scores were all pretty similar. It averages out at 8.7, which feels good, especially since this is something. I mean, you did it. I think that Homefront is going to be one of the games that people are going to be chatting about. And like as we do when we cover an event like this through trailer score, we're not necessarily talking about like, oh boy, this was the big game of the show, but this was one of the big trailers. I think this was one of the big trailer successes that made me really happy. That was not a game that was super on my radar, not something that was on my list that I was looking for at the show. And when the first day the show was over, was one of the videos that I wanted to see a couple more times. So congratulations, Homefront. Hopefully your next gameplay offerings will be just as dramatic and wonderful. Thank you, Kyle. Thank you, Bloodworth. See you next episode.